The Tennis Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Onyx Fantasy. Sign the promo code SGPN to go up to $1,000 bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7 day free trial of the day by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And welcome, everybody, to the Tennis Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is currently Sunday night, September 22nd, roughly 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the East Coast. I'm your host, always, Scott Reichel, once again going solo for this pod. Should be a fun episode because it is time to get into the semifinals in Chengdu and Hangzhou. So we're going to preview all 4 matches on the Monday card. According to that, though, I do want to take care of some housekeeping. I want to remind you once again that you should like, subscribe on YouTube, and a reminder, don't forget to rate the podcast on Spotify or Apple. So if you're still listening to the podcast audio only, that's fine. We'll warn you, though, you're going to be getting the content a little bit later because we do the YouTube stream live. Then I have to actually edit it and convert it, and then you ended up getting it on Spotify. So if you want to get it more immediately and you want to actually interact with me live on YouTube, check out the YouTube live stream or the YouTube video afterwards and leave a comment. Or once again, if you do really enjoy listening to it on Spotify, you can still do so, or on Apple Podcasts as well. So a reminder, leave some feedback, like, subscribe, or leave a rating and a review. Plus a reminder, check out the merch store on the SGPN website. A lot of great Tennis Gambling Podcast merch. We have sweatshirts, t-shirts, and mugs, all high quality, all affordable. So recommend getting yourself something on the merch store. Plus a reminder that for the SGPN weekly, you should definitely help the network grow by helping us wage in the war against corporate gambling, because the war is heating up and SGPN needs you to do your part. If you could take a couple seconds to rate the podcast, either this one or any other podcast with the network. Most importantly, tell a friend. Word of mouth is important to actually helping the network spread and to keeping the network alive and well. Anyway, time to start off with the actual recap of the last episode for the quarterfinals in Chengdu and Hangzhou. Overall, decent episode. Got a decent amount of the leans right for the lock and dog picks. Ended up splitting. Did have the under half a tie break in the Shang and Bublik match as my lock at minus 140. Didn't get there. Got to the first set. Then each player had breakpoint chances in the second set. Did not convert. And you got a breaker in the second set. So unfortunately, bad read there, as you ended up getting a breaker in the second set to lose the lock. However, did win the dog. We had Kaczmazov on the money line against Jari at plus 140. Never in doubt, as he won straight sets. So overall, decent episode so far, or at least decent episode and decent tournament so far, because we ended up seeing splitting of the lock and dog picks in both episodes. We won one lock and we won one dog. So basically broke even with the 2 episodes, but did decently for the outrights, actually, on Sunday. Now, we ended up losing Bublik, which means we did strike out for the actual event in Chengdu, so that is a bit unfortunate. But in Hangzhou, we're doing quite well. So for Chengdu, quick reminder, we had Bublik, who ended up losing to Shang in straight sets. We had Sunigo at 9-1 and Perricard at 13-1. Didn't work out, but first tournament back, we took it pretty light. Didn't work out, though, and we'll see what happens as the event unfolds. However, in Hangzhou, we ended up doing quite well so far, as we had Kashanov, who ended up losing, but we have Nakashima at 750, and we have Zhang at 13-1. So 2 outrights left in Hangzhou. So hopefully one of those ends up paying off for us, and that's a pretty decent payout either way. Zhang would be better, but Nakashima has a better chance of getting there. So we'll see what happens. Point is, though, the outrights have been fine. Hopefully one of the 2 that we have left in Hangzhou converts, and we can put another outright title to our overall betting record for the season. Point is, though, before we get into any of the actual preview of the Monday matches, want to recap what happened with the matches that actually took place on Sunday. So starting off with Chengdu, you saw Jari losing straight sets. Not a shock there. He's been terrible for months. And Kaczmazov's been very good. He's not dropped a set yet, including qualifying. He's been solid, and we saw him look pretty good against Jari, as he did not get broken. In fact, he faced no break points the entire match. Had 3 aces, 0 double faults, and he won 95% of his first serve points, 60% of the second serve points. That was really the difference of the match, because Jari only won 38% of the second serve points. So nice overall win there by Kaczmazov, making his first ever ATP semi. Other than that, though, you had Musetti beating Mannarino in 3. Thought Mannarino would keep it competitive, and I actually liked the over 2.5 sets that got there, as Mannarino did lose the first set and the third set pretty comfortably, but he won the second set 7-5, so ended up sending the match over the total and ended up going over 2.5 sets. Besides that, though, you have Hanfmann beating Martinez, which I did like as well. Thought Hanfmann's serve would be the difference maker, because Martinez really not a great server, and that is kind of how it unfolded, because you ended up seeing Hanfmann win more first serve and second serve points, only faced 1 break point in the entire match. Did get broken, but he only faced 1 break point, and Martinez faced 10. So Hanfmann did a good job of being aggressive and for defending his serve well, as he got the job done in straight sets. Then for Shang and Bublik, I actually did like Shang minus 1.5 sets. And that one for value, that got there. But of course, we took the under in tie breaks instead. So not the best choice by me, but point is Shang did get the job done at plus money to win in straight sets. Fun match, competitive, kind of like the US Open. Had a pretty fun breaker there where both guys had set points. Ended up seeing a 10-8 scoreline in the breaker, and Shang did win that one 10-8. So overall, nice win for Shang, looking to win his first ever title, and he's in the semis as a decent favorite to win the entire tournament up to this point. It's either him or Musetti based on the pricing, either pre-tournament or now. So we'll see if Shang can get the job done if he stays healthy in the final two matches. As for Hangzhou, so Nakashima beat Hichikata in straight sets. Not the easiest first set. It was down a break. Hichikata was actually serving for the first set. Then he choked it, and you ended up seeing Nakashima win the last 4 games of the... Actually, the last 5 games of the... Sorry, was that 5 games? I won the last 4 games of the set, so nice comeback for him. And then once that happened, Hichikata kind of ran out of gas, and you saw Nakashima really get settled in, dominated the overall points by being aggressive, and the serve was solid. So nice win there for Nakashima. Saw Cilic win against Uchiyama. Unfortunately, that was my runner-up for the lock last episode, was Cilic minus 2.5 games. That got there as he won in 3 sets. Competitive matchup, though. So Uchiyama actually serving for the match, I believe, in the 3rd set, and he choked it. So nice comeback there from Cilic, and he eventually got the job done. Had to also fight off 2 break points. You saw Uchiyama, after choking away the final service game for the match, he also actually had 2 match points courtesy of Cilic's serve. Did not convert those. So a bunch of chances there for Uchiyama, and then unfortunately fell apart as Cilic to get the job done 7-5 in the tiebreak. In fact, you saw Uchiyama up 4-1 in the final set breaker as well. So a bunch of blown chances for Uchiyama as Cilic got the job done, making a semi in his first ATP event in a while. So nice to see him there, and hopefully he ends up looking sharp in the semis on Monday. Now, for the other matches, you had the 2 Chinese men winning, as Bu ended up beating Kukushkin in straight sets. Nice win there for him. Nice job by Bu. He's looked very good. The serve's been good. He's been consistent, and now you have a fun matchup here as Zhang ended up beating Baena in straight sets. Called that one to a T. I just thought Zhang would be too aggressive for Baena to handle. Thought Baena would be very defensive, and I thought that eventually the serve would break down, and Zhang would use this firepower to really just overpower Baena, kind of similarly to how I thought the Nakashima match would go, and that's how it went, as both guys did win in straight sets. So overall, once again, pretty good episode for the leans. For the lock and dog, broke even, so it could be worse, and I'll look for a sweep here on Monday. Now, before we get into the actual matches taking place on Monday, want to remind you once again that we are brought to you by Monday Fantasy, because they have a nice pick'em, and you can use a lot of their options because they have so many of them on their menu. They now have first touchdown projections. They have tons of ways to win with the NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, even WNBA, tennis, and more. Their lab is jam-packed with profit boosts and no sweat entries. You can have specials and boosts and Ireflex entries, including if you want to go for the potential WNBA playoffs, thinking of some Game 2 options. I don't mind the lower on, we'll go with Jordan Canada assists. I know her line was 5.5 into the first game, went lower. I don't mind the lower once again in Game 2. Liberty defense has been great against the Dream this season. I think the Dream are going to struggle to score in that game anyway. For the actual sign-up code, use the promo code SGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 bonus cash on fantasy, promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tennis Gambling Podcast. Just finished recapping what happened on Sunday. Time to move on into the Monday card. So once again, Chengdu is going to come first because Chengdu is starting half an hour before Hangzhou. You have the semi starting at 5 a.m. in Chengdu Eastern Time, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time in Hangzhou, so keep that in mind. Now, for the matches in Chengdu, you have Musetti taking on Kachmazov in the first match. Musetti is around minus 347. You have Kachmazov at around plus 277. For the game spread, minus 4 for Musetti, plus 4 for Kachmazov, and the over-under is around 22 games. Set wagering, Musetti minus 1.5 sets is minus 125. Kachmazov is minus 105 to win a set, and the over 2.5 sets is plus 165. Now, Musetti has looked fine in the event, however, has not looked too convincing as he went to 3 against Manarino and 3 against O'Connell, and O'Connell actually served for the match in that one. So he's been dropping a bunch of sets, nothing new though. If you want to go for trends over the last couple months, Musetti's lost at least 1 set in 9 straight matches. So I do think that Musetti winning in straight sets is actually kind of fool's gold, because he's not done so in a long time. So I actually think Kaczmazov can make the match interesting. I think Mussetti's going to win, but I do think that Kaczmazov can win at least a set. If Mannarino can win a set in 2024 against him, I think that Kaczmazov can do the same. I think the over 2.5 sets has value at plus 165. Don't mind the games plus 4 for Kaczmazov. Think Mussetti's going to win, but that's a massive price for a guy that still has not looked that comfortable for a full match in this event, as he went to 3 against Mannarino and 3 against O'Connell. Two guys he's viewed to be pretty far ahead in terms of current form. And I think with that being the case, you can make an argument that Mussetti's overvalued. So give me the dog here, plus the games and the over as well. So give me the over 2.5 sets and the over 22 games as well in this one. Moving on to the next matchup. Going to look at a matchup between Hanfmann and Cheng. For this one, Hanfmann is around plus 270. Cheng's around plus 325. For the game spread, minus 3.5 for Cheng and minus 125. Hanfmann plus 3.5 at plus 105. For the over-under, 22.5 games or 21.5 games. For the set spread, you have minus 1.5 sets for Cheng at minus 105. Hanfmann to win a set is minus 125. The over 2.5 sets is plus 145. Now, Cheng has looked very good so far in the event. No head-to-head history, by the way, between these two. Hanfmann, going through his actual matches, has been comfortable as he has won each set besides one. So he's won 6 of his last 7 sets. He's actually won more than that if you want to include the Davis Cup, as he has won 3 of his last 4 matches in straight sets. So he has been in good form. He has won 5 straight matches, so he has been kind of playing some better tennis. Cheng, though, has been great. Lost the set to Safulin. That's fine, but did beat Bublik, Safulin, and Nishikori in consecutive order while only dropping 1 set combined. So he's played against good competition. He's been good. Hanfmann hasn't made many ATP semis in his career. This might be his first, actually, now that I think about it. I got to go with the home country guy. I think Cheng is better personally. Think that Cheng is going to get the job done, maybe in a breaker with a potential straight sets win, kind of like the Bublik match. But I think that Cheng's better than Hanfmann, and Hanfmann's overall strokes can deteriorate, or just his overall mental toughness can be wavering at times. I think Cheng's very tough mentally. He's sharp physically right now, and he's playing great tennis. But dropping 1 set combined to Bublik, Safulin, and Nishikori, I think is very impressive. And a reminder that Safulin made the final last year in this event. So there's a pretty good win there. Give me Cheng to get the job done. I probably would lean to the either straight sets of minus 105, but I might actually prefer the team total over for Cheng at around 12.5. I think there's some value on that. I think that Hanfmann can win a set potentially, and you might get there even if he loses the match, or you get at least 175 or 76. I think it's realistic. I think we get at least one competitive set here. So give me Cheng, team total over 12.5 in that matchup. Moving on to the next one. You're going to look at the tournament here in Hangzhou. So going in order for the actual matches on the Monday card. Starting off with Cilic against Nakashima. Now, Nakashima is minus 270. Cilic is plus 225 for the actual game spread, minus 3, give or take, for Nakashima, plus 3 for Cilic. For the actual over-under, you have around 22.5 or 23. For set wagering, the over 2.5 sets is plus 150. For straight sets, Nakashima's plus 100. Cilic to win a set is minus 130. And Cilic in straight sets is plus 500. Now, you're looking at the path for both players, and you're looking at Nakashima basically coasting into the semis, which is why I did take him in this event. I thought his draw was pretty favorable. I didn't trust Rune, and I thought he'd be able to look sharp. Had a competitive matchup against Wang, but that's basically it. I ended up going to a final set against Wang. Did end up winning the final set 6-1, though. Beat Chikata in straight sets. Did beat Marter and Kovalik in the Davis Cup in straight sets, but those guys are pretty weak compared to him. Point is, Nakashima's been in good form, and he has been for the last couple months, which is nice to see because he's still a talented player, top 20 caliber, and he had a pretty rough go of it for the last year. Nice to see him back on track. Now for Cilic, he's gone to 3 sets in back-to-back in 2 of the 3 matches. Went to 3 against Uchiyama. Probably should have lost the match based on the amount of opportunities that Uchiyama had, serving for the match and having 2 match points against Cilic to serve later on in the same set, then losing a 4-1 lead in the breaker in the tiebreak to lose 6 of the last 7 points is not exactly ideal. But point is, Cilic got the job done, ended up beating Nishioka in straight sets, good win there, and beats Faja in 3. For this one, I see a very close matchup here. I think both guys are good at serving. I think that you're going to see a lot of holds here. Nakashima, we know, is not a great returner. Cilic did not do a great job of returning in the last match in general against Uchiyama, who's not the biggest server. I see a lot of holds. I see a potential breaker or 2. I'm going to go with the over in this one as my main thought. I think it's going to be a close battle. I think Nakashima should win, but Cilic has been going to 3 sets somewhat regularly recently. His serve's been good, and I do think that Nakashima is going to force a couple breakers as well. So I am going to go with the over as my main thought in that matchup. Think the Nakashima wins, but minus 270 is really not appealing to me, and I think you're looking at a better play on the total, so I am going to go with the over in that one. Moving on to the last match on the card for Monday, you have Bu against Zhang. So for this one, you have Zhang as a decent favorite, minus 157. You have Bu at around plus 137. For the game spread, minus 2 for Zhang, plus 2 for Bu for the actual over-under 22.5. And for any of the other props available, you have the set spread here. Zhang in straight sets is plus 165. Bu in straight sets is around plus 300. The over 2.5 sets is plus 130. So point is, I think you're going to see a close matchup here. Bu's been very solid, and I do think that Zhang will be willing to partake in a lot of baseline rallies with Bu. The question is, Zhang has a lot of firepower. Will Bu be able to match it? And we've seen him so far in this event take on some players that have some firepower, like Ashana, for example. And we've also seen him beat Gaston. So polar opposites in the first 2 rounds, won those, ended up winning against Kukushkin in the last matchup. So I think it's going to be a close battle, but I do think that Zhang is the better player. It's why I took him to win the event. And I do think that his serve will be the bigger factor here. Even though Bu's a decent server, I think Zhang's serve is better. So I don't mind the over, maybe 3 sets, but I think that Zhang eventually gets the job done as he advances to a final. Just think that the moment might be a bit big for Bu, and we'll see how he responds to being an ATP semifinal, but I think you're looking at Zhang being better, and I think this price is pretty cheap. So give me Zhang in this one to get the job done at around minus 155 for that matchup. Moving on to the, actually I see a question coming in from Rick. Who's going to have more aces, Cilic or Nakashima? I think I would go with Nakashima on that one. Then Nakashima is a little bit better hitting his spots personally, but Cilic has been willing to let some returns go. It seems like Cilic tries to conserve energy where he's not willing to fully lunge for every ball. Nakashima might once again give up some aces to Cilic, but I think that if you're asking me who's more likely to have a bunch of them, I think it's Nakashima. Looking at Uchiyama, for example, in the last match, who's not the biggest server in the world, Uchiyama still had 9. Now, Cilic had 19, so you might want the over in this matchup in general for aces. But if you had to ask who I think's going to have more, I would lean Nakashima, but I think it might be close. Kind of just thinking it's going to be a double-digit number for both guys, but you see Nakashima win by like 2 or 3. I see Rick agreeing with me that he thinks that Zhang's going to beat Bu. Think it might be fun, though. Maybe competitive, but I think that Zhang's better. And Anthony's mentioning he likes Musetti and Zhang matches, no tie breaks. The Zhang one might be tricky. Musetti should be fine, though. We know Musetti's not a great server. I can see some breaks in that one. So we'll see what happens in those matches as well. But that's going to wrap it up for the 4 matches for Monday. Now it's time for the lock and dog picks. But before getting into the actual lock and dog picks, I want to remember once again, they're brought to you by BetUS because they've been around for 30 plus years. And you're looking at their accessibility. They're available in a bunch of locations, including internationally. They also just launched a brand new live betting software. And a reminder that you can easily deposit with crypto and get lightning fast payouts. If you use our link as well, you can get 1 to 25% deposit bonus on your sign up to 3 deposits, which is a great deal. Plus a reminder that you should use the link, sportscampodcast.com/BetUS, the sportscampodcast.com/BetUS, promo code SGPN so they know we send you. BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm's a proud partner of SGPN, and they're the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all abilities the ability to build custom predictive models in seconds to get predictions on money line, spread totals, and props. They had a great week, too, in the NFL with the AI, as they ended up winning a bunch of money, 22.5% ROI on NFL spread bets, 44.3% on ROI on the NFL money line bets. But if you don't believe us, you can definitely either try it out yourself for free with a free trial, or you could also just use the different actual, I'd say, features the platform has, because they have the ability to build your own model. You can copy a model from the top performing models on the leaderboard, or just ask Rhythm to build one for you, and it'll give you a new model in seconds. Can once again give you predictions on every game and player props, and they also have a bunch of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you more information. Plus a reminder that you should use the free trial to give it a shot. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportscampus.com/rhythm, sportscampus.com/RATHMM. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tennis Gambling Podcast. Just finished going through all 4 matches for the Monday semifinals. Now it's time for the lock and dog picks. For the lock, I actually am going to go to a matchup in Hangzhou, and it is a bit dangerous because Cilic has not played many matches recently on the ATP Tour, but his serve's very good, and Nakashima's serve's very good. Give me the over, 22.5 games, -125 on BetUS. Covering why first reason, both guys are good at serving. I can see a couple breakers here. Both guys have also had a bunch of marathon sets. so far in the last couple matches. As you're looking at the actual numbers here, Cilic has had at least one 7-5 or 7-6 set in 6 of the last 7 matches, and Nakashima is not that far behind. 3 of Nakashima's 5 sets in this event have had at least 12 games. So we have seen a lot of competitive overall tennis for these guys, and I do think that you're looking at what should be at least one breaker, maybe 2. You can still win this with a classic 6-4, 6-4-7-6, which could be possible, but I think you're looking at least one breaker, and I think that both guys serving-wise are very dangerous, so I am going to go with the over in this matchup. We know Nakashima has been good recently, but my main flaw with his game, really an awful returner, and I think that should result in a decent amount of holds for Cilic. So give me the over. 22.5 games is my lock here as my lock. For my dog, I should say give me the over in the Cilic-Nakashima match as my lock for the semis at minus 125. For my dog, I am going to go to the other event. I'm going to go back to Chengdu. First match on the board, give me Musetti and Kaczmazov. Give me Kaczmazov and Musetti over 2.5 sets at plus 165. Musetti has lost at least one set of 9 straight matches, mentioned it before, and Kaczmazov has won every single match here, including qualifying. 5-0, not dropping a set, so he has been in great form. He's also a decent dog, though, so Musetti has stepped up in competition, but he has been dropping sets, and Kaczmazov has proven that he's pretty comfortable here on the courts in Chengdu. So I like the idea of fading Musetti, who's dropped a set of 9 straight, but not picking him to lose outright. Give me the over 2.5 sets. Plus 165 is a great deal when one guy, the favorite, the minus 400 favorite, give or take, has dropped a set in 9 straight. So based on the price here, give me the over 2.5 sets at plus 165 as my dog. So once again, my picks for the Monday matches, my lock's going to be on Cilic and Nakashima over 22.5 games, minus 125. For my dog, I am going to go with the Kaczmazov and Musetti over 2.5 sets at plus 165. We're back once again for the final breakdowns on Monday, so stay tuned for that. And until next time, find me on Twitter at Reichel Radio. Find me on the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Got an episode tonight for Game 2s of the first round series. Also, find me on the MLB Show. Did an episode with Alante a couple hours ago. If you want some baseball thoughts for Monday. Till next time, though, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.